Welcome to the Road to Blake Street Banter. One of us knows what the board banter means. The other three are just along for the ride. Mike, what's up?
What up, guys? I know we have a pretty fun guest here today, but how was your Father's Day, Aaron?
It was good. The kids treated me right. The wife helped organize it all, and I'm very lucky to be a dad to three awesome boys who are just nonstop. They drive me crazy, but I love them to death. It's awesome. Isaac, how are you doing?
I'm very good. I'm excited for this Road to Blake Street interview today, right?
Yeah, it should be good. Yeah, we are joined by Bryson Hammer, the man himself. How did you celebrate Father's Day? I know your dad's a big part of your baseball life, I know for sure. But beyond that, how did you help celebrate Father's Day yesterday, Bryson?
Yeah, no, and thank you again for having me on the podcast. I appreciate it a lot. But I mean, most of it was spent on a bus coming back from Canada. So, but other than that, I mean, I got to talk to him that morning. I talked to him a little bit afternoon, and like you said, I mean, he's got a huge part in most of all this happening. So, credit to him for sure.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I need you to reach out to Bryson, and he'll probably be down for the pod sometime. That was last off season, and then I texted you like, hey, don't know what you're doing. I know you're traveling or whatever. Let's find a time. You go, yeah, tonight's probably not going to be a night, a good night for that.
Yeah, that was a struggling night. I think I was on the way home. It was the second day of travel, and I had been on 30 hours of just straight driving. I hadn't slept, so it was like. Yeah, that was a rough one, but now I'm glad that we could finally find the time to make it work. But yeah,
Yeah, that was just bad timing because you were going Fresno back to North Carolina, right?
it's Spokane back in North
Spokane,
Carolina.
yeah, Spokane, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the struggles that people don't know about minor leaguers and what they have to do to
Yeah, that travel's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. Like, what's the bus ride to Spokane from Spokane to Vancouver? That's a little bit of a jaunt.
Yeah, we left at 4:15, got back at like probably 12:15, 12:30, somewhere around there.
That was better than I thought. I was thinking 12, 15 hours. That's good. All right. So before we get into the big questions, you got tee times today, this afternoon. What's the golf game like? And then is that a normal practice for your off schedule type thing?
Yeah, I mean, last year it was. This year's kind of been a little different. Obviously, been hurt and stuff, but for the most part, yeah. I mean, every off day we're got a pretty solid group of guys going. Don't play like 2v2 scramble, maybe a little money. Just really just I mean out there having fun, but it gets intense. I think it's fun. So
Who's the dark horse? Who's the guy that like you wouldn't expect to be the good golfer, but is out there? You can say yourself if you need to.
this may come as a surprise to most, but Charlie Condon's actually a pretty good golfer. Um, Crazy, yeah. I mean, nobody would expect it. Obviously, the dude's got so much money and everything else, but he just happens to be good at golf too, so it just ticks you off a little bit more. But no, he's good. JT, I've heard a lot of hype about JT, Jerry Thomas.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out today. And then there's a couple other guys in there that they can play, but most of them I haven't got to see, so we're going to find out the real test today.
Figuring it out today. That's fun. Yeah, it's fun to see like how like you all have different paths, right? Like Charlie Condon's path is way different than Bryson Hammer's path, and it's just
100%.
still funny that you still are just going to be talking s on the links with the boys and just doing that kind of stuff. It's always fun to kind of hear like a Charlie Condon type is literally still just a dude and just ready to hang out. It's always fun to hear that kind of stuff.
What's your handicap?
I couldn't even tell you right now. Yeah, this year, no clue. Best I've ever shot's 82. So usually, if I'm playing pretty consistent, I can shoot like mid 80s. But that's also playing pretty consistent. And with the broke hand and everything, it's been a little bit of a struggle so far. But we're getting back into it, so we'll see.
I mean, mid 80s is solid. Like I don't think you can undersell that.
Well, it's okay until you got to go play, JT and Charlie, and they're both on the same team. And I think Charlie's best score was like 77, and then JT's is 75 or maybe even lower. I don't know, but you got to bring your A game. So we'll see.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, so the hand is an issue. It was when did that hit? Was that early off season? Because you started down in the ACL, then Fresno, and now you're up in Spokane for the last week or so. Just kind of what was the injury? How did the injury happen? How's it feeling now? All that. Kind of walk us through all that.
Yeah. So I was pretty sure it's February 19th. Playing a little bit of basketball. Just hanging out. Ended up falling. Went to the doctor the next day. Was heading out for spring training February 21st.
No.
So 2 days before, yeah, had the X-rays, called everybody. Ended up, I think it was like start of March. It was like the first week of spring training. Ended up having surgery, and then about a couple of days later, I figured Charlie was joining me on this journey. But yeah, me and him both kind of had the same issue. It was like four. Mine was a little different because it was in the wrist and the bone that was broke. Had to have surgery to put the bone back together just with a screw. So done all that, done the rehab, finally got, to where I felt comfortable. And then they sent me to Fresno. I didn't know how long I would be there whenever I did get there. Thankfully, it wasn't as long as I was hoping, or not as long as I was hoping, but as long as I thought I was going to be there. And obviously back up here in Spokane. So just kind of taking it, step by step. Still feel like I'm pretty early into the season for me, obviously, but just adapting and trying to, see where everybody's at here, and, just continue to go from there.
Was it your throwing hand, your glove hand?
It was glove hand. So
Glove
you
hand.
can kind of see the
Oh,
scar
yeah.
a little bit.
Gnarly,
Nothing
yeah.
crazy, but
Does it feel stronger? Like rookie of the year type style?
I wish, but no, sadly, it hurts more now than it ever has. It like
Yeah.
aches. I don't know, maybe cold weather. I have no clue. Going back and forth from Canada, I don't know. It's just stiff, but not part of it.
Yeah, still trying to figure out that part of the rehab, the injury there. So you're back into it. Spokane has been okay for you. We won't talk about Vancouver. You're out in Vancouver, but
Yeah.
how's it feel like just to kind of be back in Spokane? Like, I mean, you've had a few outings, 2 innings each. You got a dub under your belt. But like, how's it feel to get back in the high A ball from Fresno for a little bit and just kind of back to the old team, so to speak?
Yeah, no, it's nice. Obviously, I think we done a really good job last year finishing the job, and whenever I came in, what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago, the goal here was to win the first half, and obviously we fell a little short of that, but I think everybody here's got unfinished business with that, and obviously getting beat six straight by Vancouver's nobody wants that to happen, but I think we kind of take it with a little bit of chip on our shoulder and everybody kind of has locked in the past couple of days, and even yesterday's game, we lost 3-2, but everybody kind of, I think we're on the right track. So I think we're kind of spinning on all cylinders. So we'll see.
Is there like a rivalry between you all and Vancouver? Because like you said, like last year it was pretty heated. Like I've never really seen minor leaguers teams kind of battle. Like
Yeah,
like the rivalry stuff that you just see in like college baseball type style. Is that
right.
still there? Is that just the group of players? Was that just the competitive juices last year?
I think I think there might be a little bit of a rivalry just because of last year. Being in the playoffs, and then obviously us kind of taking over whenever we got there. Maybe it's a little bit of chip on their shoulder, obviously, but getting beat six straight, I think that puts a little different type of gas in the fuel. But well, I mean, I think a lot of guys here, obviously, like I said, they want to win, and everybody's kind of progressing. So we'll see. I do think I like what we got here. I do a lot, and I think a lot of guys they like to get chirpy, and they like to get after it. And when the competition rises, a lot of our guys overcome it. So it'll be fun to see what happens the rest of the year.
Do you get to like know the players on other teams more? Because there's only 6 teams in the league, so do you just feel more of like a connection when you play them, and maybe that's what sparks it?
Yeah, I think because well, I mean, this was like I think the second time they played Vancouver, maybe third this year. I don't remember, but like I mean, we're not even at the halfway point yet, and you played that team twice already or 3 times. So I do for sure think that you get to know guys a whole lot better, and I think there's definitely a little bit of chippiness that comes with that. So
Who's the loud one on the team this year?
the loud.
Like, who's the one that coach is a
Jared
little worried
Thomas,
about?
I wouldn't say he's worried about, but Jared, he's a little loud.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else would be loud. Not Messina. Messina, he's a loud one.
I can see that.
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, I think a lot of people would say I'm the loud one. Probably, if you want me to be honest.
Yeah.
I just do a whole lot of yapping in the clubhouse. Just trying to make my rounds, just talk to everybody. But that's
Yeah.
just, I mean, I just try to keep everything loose with everybody. But I feel like there'd be quite a bit say that I'm just the loud one in general, to be honest with you.
I mean, a locker room needs that. Like, we've been talking a little bit about the big league squad, like about a glue guy or type thing. Like last year, like it felt like Jake Cave kind of was the locker room guy from afar and that kind of stuff. And so it's a good locker room guy, like a presence. I'm sure you can speak to it a little bit more, but like, how important is it to have a glue guy, locker room guy, like having that camaraderie, that kinship, that friendship kind of go beyond just the clubhouse to the time we leave, but beyond that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's really important. I think, you got to have people that you can talk to, especially outside of baseball. Especially, I mean, this is your life for 6, 7 months at a time. So, like, to not be able to have somebody, well, glue inside, but also glue on the outside of the clubhouse, I think it can be detrimental to your mental health for sure. I mean, as a pitcher, you might get one time to throw a week, and you got to sit on it till the next one if it's bad. I guess hitters, they get a little more leeway. They can kind of do it every day, but I mean, you got to have somebody to keep it loose. I 100% agree with that, no doubt.
When did you notice that in you? When did you know that was a skill set that you had?
I mean, for me personally, like, my whole goal is just, one, obviously to try to make it to the major leagues, but two, like, I mean, I would like to see everybody here do the same. I think a lot of times, we all, like you said, we all just kind of goof around, and you can see guys get tense, and you can see guys like, this is my life, and it could be done tomorrow. So I think that's kind of where I just try to come in and, just keep everybody free. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, it still is a kid's game, like, and we're just blessed enough to be able to have the opportunities that we are. So instead of like sitting there and struggling and worrying, just try to take advantage of it and, use it for the best of our ability.
Yeah, love that. Yes, like I was listening to an interview with Scooble. He was talking about how he can keep it loose in the clubhouse and like the whole Tiger squad, like what it is. Like, they're fascinating to watch, like as a baseball fan. But he's like,
they're legit.
We're loose pretty much the entire game. Like, we're talking, we're joking, but then as the game gets a little bit closer, a little bit tired towards the end, we all kind of know when to step back a little bit and watch what we say and keep it more competitive and that kind of stuff, which I appreciate a guy like Scooble, right? Like reigning Cy Young guy, best pitcher in the league. I don't even know if we can have an argument about that, but he's saying like, yeah, it's loose, but then we get together. Like, it's just the vibe, that culture, that clubhouse there. It's there. It's, I don't know. It's one of those unwritten rules of baseball that I think kind of gets lost sometimes.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah.
So to kind of pivot the conversation, your last name Hammer is one of the coolest in the system. The Rockies have had 3 different players with the last name Hammer in the past 3 years. It must be a record or something. Have you seen any like fun nicknames or that have come along with that last name?
I get a lot of ham bone. I mean, most people call me Hammer, but I've got a couple ham bones. Could not tell you where that came from. That's one of them. There's probably a couple more. Probably can't say on the podcast, but it definitely makes its rounds on just randomness. So, but it's fun. Like you said, I mean, it's wild. There's been 3. I know one was my brother too as well, but it's crazy, but it's cool.
Yeah, the other guy was what, JD Hammer?
Yeah.
I think he signed as a free agent a few years ago, 21, I think 2020, 2021, something like that. No relation to JD?
No, not JD. Just Zach.
Just Zach and Bryson.
I know the Rockies are doing like I don't know if you guys saw this, like the Ryan thing. They're getting all the Ryans together, and like and doing. You guys should do like a hammer thing. All the hammers should get together.
I agree. They should. I'm 100% for it.
That could be fun. A few questions about your college ball, and then we'll have Isaac ask a few about your Arsenal and stuff. But your college journey is a little interesting because am I getting this right? Like you went to Clemson, redshirted, then left Clemson to go to Catawba. Definitely said that wrong. Catawba Valley, where you were dominant, and then you ended up at Dallas Baptist. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Catawba Valley, though.
Catawba.
Yeah,
not too bad.
That's close. Yeah, that's close. It's close.
Your numbers were insane. Like I'm just gonna say it so you don't have to. 116 batters struck out in 66 innings, roughly 15.8 strikeouts per 9, which is just insane. No matter what the level is, whether it's community level all the way above. But like, what kind of happened from getting to Clemson? Because you're a North Carolina kid, I know that. So getting to Clemson and then leaving Clemson and then Dallas Baptist, all that. Like, what was some of the mental stuff, the decision making, and all of that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I can kind of run you through it. I think I committed to Clemson. It was after my sophomore year of high school. Obviously, draft did not work out. So, ended up going to Clemson. Was there for, I had a good fall. And then going into the spring, I think I had a couple things I needed to work on. And then after talking, to the head coach, I thought it was best for me to continue somewhere else. And then Catawba Valley reached out, and it was closer to home, so I felt like if I was going to go the JUCO route, obviously Catawba Valley probably been the easier one. Knew the head coach, knew everybody there, so ended up going there. Had a pretty good year, and that fall I committed to Dallas Baptist, and obviously went on to Dallas Baptist after that, and got the opportunity to get drafted, so I took it. But I think mentally, it was rough, especially you leave a D1 school and the next place you go, you have a locker room in the back of your trunk of your car. So mentally, I think it can break you 100%. But for me, I think it was it's the path I had to take, and led me to where I am now. So it was hard. Nobody wants to leave a D1 school. I think, especially going from D1 to JUCO, it can really it can mess with you, I think, physically as well. Like for me, I know I struggled a lot with command, especially at Clemson. So going into JUCO, my thought was always, man, what if I can't command? What if I can't command? But obviously, you got the opportunity to overcome that, and just kind of, there's times I still struggle with it, obviously, but I think knowing that I have the ability to be here, that was enough. So
Yeah, like because I'm in a high school by day, so to speak, and I have a kid that's like, I don't know what I want to do. I can maybe go D1, D2, or I just go and try to get as much playing time as I can at a community college JUCO, and I'm just like, do whatever you want, man. Like there's that D1 status, right? Like that'd be dope as hell, but also you want to go play, and you want to get seen, and you want to get to that next level, and maybe it's going out and getting playing time at that JUCO level and playing. And he was kind of doing a mental dance. He's going to be a senior next year with all that. And I'm just like, I talk to people all the time that have the different routes. So if you just want to try to get out there and seen and play baseball as long as you can, do whatever is going to make you happy next year and figure it out. And it's just, I don't know. Sometimes that gets lost because I mean, in high school, you see the kids that want to go D1, D2, but like at the end of the day, you want to play and you want to get seen. And the way college is right now, like there's so many options beyond that, which is a whole nother conversation that we probably don't have time for. But I don't know. It's just like you can go to JUCO, you can do your thing, there's no like knock on it. And I think sometimes that gets lost. And I don't know, maybe as an 18, 19-year-old back then, when you were going D1 back to JUCO, you probably didn't look at it like that. But I'm sure life kind of humbled you in a little bit and like, yeah, this is fine type thing.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Like I said, I mean, I think it was needed for me. I think it was just a humbling experience in general. Like you said, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with JUCO at all. Like, I mean, most of the guys I still talk to this day are from JUCO as well. So like, you get to meet people and you get to be put in experiences where you meet so many different type of people, and everybody's got the same goal. Obviously they want to go on to D1 and play baseball, and but then other guys are there like, hey, this is just I'm here because I got the opportunity, and after this, I'm going to go,
Mhm.
finish my career or whatever. So it's cool. I think I think obviously JUCO's a whole lot more different now than it was back in 18 or 9. I think the talent level has 100% went up. I think so many guys, you hit the portal nowadays, you're not guaranteed anywhere. So
Right.
even to play professional or not professional, but collegiate baseball is that's a blessing in my eyes. So
Yeah.
How
And
much did the redshirt year at Clemson help your career?
I think I needed it 100%. Obviously it's not what I wanted at the time, but I think mentally and physically, it gave me the opportunity to go somewhere where I knew I could pitch, like it's Catawba Valley, and with all the guys there, all the people that I knew. I don't know if Hunter Harvey, he's a closer for the Royals, and then Brian Harvey, his dad was a big leaguer with the Angels, and Chris went to Clemson. Chris Harvey, so all them guys, I had, right there at the palm of my hand to use those resources. So I think they were huge in helping me be able to move on and go back to D1 baseball because that was my goal, and they helped me succeed. And now, obviously, being here, there's still a lot of help. So
yeah, we're only as strong as our circle, as our support system, no matter what we're doing, wherever. Like so many stories with like this guy helped me get there. Just having that person to lean on, just listen, that kind of stuff. It's important. It's huge. All right. So your professional career, Isaac, load up the questions. Hammer Bryson with all the questions. Oh, see what I did there? That was good.
Oh,
that was a good one. That was a good one.
Complete accident.
okay. I think we have like two for you, Bryson. But
Okay.
the first one, I was like looking at your baseball reference page, and your 2023 season at Dallas Baptist, all your professional seasons after that, your walk numbers have been down quite a bit since your time at Dallas Baptist. Was it something that the Rockies saw and like approached you about, we can improve your command if you do this or that? Or was it just settling into professional baseball has improved your command?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it could be a little bit of both. I think for me, like, I think there was a lot of stress, especially like going through college, like trying to be professional. Obviously, like that's your goal. So I think there's more stress then than there ever was now. Like, um, for me to be able to go out and do what I love every day, I think it makes it 10 times easier. But I think, me and the Rockies worked a little bit with like lowering my arm slot. At Dallas Baptist, I think I was honestly almost right over the top. So now I'm more like sitting around like almost, really almost sidearm, but maybe a little higher. That was one thing that helped for me to be able to locate and command the ball a little better. But I mean, other than that, I think settling in was a good chunk of it too.
Yeah. With your like arm slot change, how has like your arsenal changed as well? Because like your
Right.
pitches are gonna move different up here than they will at a lower angle.
So one of my biggest problems I think last year was like figuring out like a secondary pitch, like a curveball or slider. Because obviously I always been over the top, so I always had a big hammer. Most would say
Yeah.
like 12-6 curveball. That was kind of the ongoing joke. But obviously since moving my arm slot down, I've kind of had to like I've messed a little bit, with like a harder slider. So I kind of got a mix right now of like a more like a sweeperish, like 80 to 82 mile per hour slider thing, but still working a little bit on it. And then obviously the changeups kind of stayed the same, but it went mostly from four seams to mainly just two seams now.
Yeah.
So you have a home ERA this year of 1.35. I know Avista Stadium isn't exactly, offensive nightmare to deal with, but you still have to deal with like 297 to right field. Why has your ERA been so low? Is there just have you just felt at home there?
For me, obviously, the short porch in right field, especially for lefties, can be tough. But for me, I think obviously being a two seamer, staying down the zone, I get a lot of weak contact, but also get a lot of ground balls. So I think that's something that's helped a lot. And then obviously, you got to know when to throw what pitch. I think that helps a lot. And I think Cole Messina and our other catcher Darius Bear, they both do a really good job at reading off, how we need to attack certain guys, and I think the Rockies do a good job at that, especially at this level.
Yeah. All right. This is a stupid question. So you were drafted in the 12th round draft pick, 12th round, and you're this over the top kind of guy, and the Rockies come to you, hey, we're gonna switch up your arm slot. Is that like, to me, it's like, all right, you drafted me as this guy, but you want me to be that guy.
Right.
How do you know I have the stuff to be that guy? Like, I don't know. Like, how does that kind of conversation kind of start?
See, well, I think that's where it's a little opposite because if you want to be honest, I came back over from 23 going into the 24 season last year, and I had just dropped it myself, and then
Okay.
I talked to them, and they were like, "All right, well, let's kind of see how it goes, and then we'll play it by ear." And obviously, last year I had a solid year, so it was like, okay, yeah, it can stay, it can stay. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So that was a decision you kind of made with like, hey, what do you think about this? Let's see if this works type thing.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
I can kind of explain for me, like the biggest thing explaining it was like in order for me to like stop moving my head as much, like lower my arms, like kept my head over my body so I could, everything would be more linear towards home plate. That was kind of the big thing.
Yeah. Being able to be more consistent with your delivery, which we know is a big deal. Okay. No, that makes more sense because I mean,
Yeah.
we have a friend of the pod, Kakaska, who's like,
Mhm.
I'm an outfielder, and then like a few years ago, he's like, the outfield's loaded. Like this, there's so much talent around me. I need to play. I'm gonna go learn first base. What do you guys think about it? And he went and talked to the coaches, the front office, like, hey, put me at first. Let's figure this out. And so I just always wonder like how that works, like as an organization, players, that type of stuff. So that makes sense. All right, a few more questions, fun questions to get you out of here. Always like to ask a few big topic questions, before getting rid of you all. The first one is you're going on a road trip. You can go to Vancouver. You're stopping at the party store, the gas station before you hit the road. What are the snacks you are grabbing off the shelf for that long road trip?
I'm a soda guy, so if I'm going soda, I'm getting Pepsi. That's all I drink. Anybody here knows that. Anybody I've ever grown up with knows that. I'm going to the soda section and getting a Pepsi. That's probably the first thing I'm grabbing. And then depending on like if it's morning time, if it's nighttime. If it's nighttime, probably going with the trolley gummy worms.
Yep.
Those and probably some ice cream.
Ooh, ice cream. That's a new one.
It's an odd road trip, but I'll mess with it.
If it's a long one, yeah, I'm probably grabbing some ice cream.
Okay.
100%.
Do you do Pepsi Zero or like Diet Pepsi or just straight Pepsi?
Just straight Pepsi. Straight Pepsi. No, nothing that. Yeah, I've tried the Zero, but I can't get on board with that. So I just stay strictly just regular. Yeah.
Bottle or fountain?
Bottle for sure.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say that. Oh, that's
the
Pepsi and the
especially on the bus. Can't let it spill everywhere. But
yeah, that's a good call. You have to be able to put it down.
All right, that's what the glue guy would. That's why you're such a good glue guy. You know this.
I'm not going to cause the mess.
Yeah.
No, we had one yesterday, so probably going to get a K Corp for that one. But
who was it?
It was Connor Eaton. He spilled his coffee, Starbucks coffee, all over the bus floor.
Oh, so Connor.
We'll probably get him a max fine of $25 for that one. So
that's awesome. And coffee doesn't smell. That's there the entire time.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can wipe it up all you want, but the smell ain't going away. So.
It's there. Poor Connor. And then my favorite question to ask, and you get to be completely 100% selfish when you answer this. What is your favorite baseball moment for you, from like performance wise, team moment, anywhere from high school ball, little league to where you are now?
I think honestly, like at the end of last year, whenever we won it all, I think the day after, like that was like the year I had. I think, and obviously winning the playoffs. I think all that combined with the year I had, it was just like a big sigh of relief. Like, okay, yeah, I can fit in here. So for me, like that was a bit like the drive home was really, it was good. It was nice.
but it was good for the most part. Yeah, kind of that reflection piece there. Like, yeah, I just put all that together as a professional, and that was good. Yeah, right. I can see that. That's awesome. Well, Bryson, thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for doing it. Good luck tonight. Make sure you kick Condon's ass in golf, and make sure you try to get some of that signing bonus money from him.
Oh, don't worry. I do all the time. I try. I'm trying for everybody out there. Don't worry.
All right. Got to humble him when we can, right? But appreciate you hanging out. We're rooting for you. We're watching you. And go do your thing, big dog.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
See ya.
Thank you.
All right. Bryson Hammer. That was fun.
What a guy.
I love that. Oh, gosh. Here we go.
I got you. Don't worry. I got it.
Okay.
You got to love the humility from Bryson Hammer.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about it all the time. They're dudes. They're just dudes hanging out. They're all people working for the same common goal. It's awesome. I appreciate Sean hanging out in the chat. Sorry. Didn't see you posted. I've been watching a lot of Spokane games this year, mostly for Gondon, but so happy to hear from Bryson. Bryson might just be his new reliever in the Spokane barn. So holler at Sean. Thank you for hanging out as usual. And then this is crazy. He caught some bullpens for JD Hammer in high school. So even though there's a connection wherever you want, we can play 3 degrees of separation if we need to, whenever we need to.
JD Hammer has 3 brothers, so I think we could fill out a Hammer baseball team.
Yeah, 3, 4, 5. We can put Scott Hammer, Papa Hammer in there somewhere. I'm sure he'll like to play around out there if we need to. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for hanging out with us, Bryson. If you are listening, make sure you do share it to anywhere you can. Again, part of what makes BSB great is sharing these stories of these minor leaguers. So that's a little bit of Bryson Hammer. And so share the word. All right, let's get into the pod, right? So Road to Blake Street. I'm here to host, and you guys are the experts. We have some transactions. We just got word, like I think as we were clicking the hey, let's go live button, Michael Toglia is a Colorado Rocky major leaguer once again. Keston Hiura has been DFA'd, which was expected. He'll probably clear and be back with Albuquerque at the end of the 48 hours. But who has been watching a lot of Michael Toglia in Albuquerque last 2 weeks, and what should we expect from him in the big leagues?
Yeah, this is something me and Isaac talked about last week, where it's like last year we saw the same exact thing. He went down to AAA and came back and he mashed 25 home runs. And last week we were like, hey, it could be the same timeline. And here he's back up again. Just got called up today. I think we could have the same storyline here. I think he's going to have a lot of confidence. Hit 3 home runs this past week, had a 7 RBI game that was cut earlier from rain. So, I mean, in terms of Michael Toglia, we know the power will be there. The confidence is back up. Let's hopefully he can just go out there and just be – I mean, he was pretty be so I have a lot of confidence he'll at least do much better than that. So, because we all know the talent's there.
What is considered good for Michael Toglia when he comes back up? Like, what do we want out of him, Isaac, that like, you know what, Michael Toglia is a major league caliber first baseman that I'm okay with on my team for the next 2-3 years?
Yeah. This year, I'm pretty sure Toglia has been striking out like close to half the time, half of his at bats.
39%. Looking at it now. Yep.
Okay, I was totally off. But if he can get it down to 33, 34, and he's getting more of his getting more home runs, I'd love that. And I like, especially for a guy like Toglia, who's gonna be a streaky player. He's not gonna be a guy who's hitting 300. But this year we saw 3 home runs for the Isotopes. If he could just translate a little bit of that, like 1 home run, 2 home runs once a week or whatever it is, I'd be happy with him being in the lineup. He's a guy that I want to be in the Rockies lineup every day.
So we're looking at 30% strikeout rate with a home run per week. So it's roughly what, 20 weeks? July, August, September, add some June. So 15 weeks, probably 15 weeks, 15 dingers from Michael Toglia the rest of the way. His numbers at the AAA level, 29% strikeout rate compared with a 12% walk rate in comparison to a 40% strikeout rate, 9% walk rate before his call up. So we'll see how that goes with that. So our first baseman is back. We'll see. Good luck to Keston wherever he is. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. I don't think he was bad. Don't think he was great. I think he was exactly what we kind of needed him there. Another transaction, Benny Montgomery is back with the Yard Goats. He has been recalled. Lewis, you should move to the right just a little bit. You're a little off center. There you go. Benny's back with the Yard Goats. Zach Agnos has been down to AAA Albuquerque. He has walked, I think, more in his major league major league than his minor league career are really, really close. I don't know what those numbers are. And then we have a few ACL signings. It looks like some death pizzas there. But do either one of you want to talk about Benny or Agnos at all?
Yeah, I want to touch on Agnos. I think we saw him go down to Arizona, and he's still trying to fix some stuff, and he's going to get back in Albuquerque. Talent is still there. Even Bryson Hammer off the air was talking about Agnos and how much he loves Agnos and how crazy it was that Agnos is being sent down. But that he just was struggling with walks. He walked the bases loaded one time. I don't think the Rockies are helping him because it's like he's struggling with walks, and here you go, kid. Here's the 9th inning with we're only up 1, and it's just really tough for him to do that. So hopefully he'll be back, and I have no worries about Agnos.
Yeah.
From Thomas Harding, a few yesterday, Warren Schaefer says Zach Agnos will initially be sent to the club performance lab in Scottsdale to get him working on getting his slider in the zone, moving his body right. Then you'll join the AAA Albuquerque Isotopes for game action. So the slider is the focus for Agnos in the lab, and see how that translates at the isotope level. Isaac, you want to talk about Benny at all?
Yeah. It's good that he's back.
We'll get Mike on in the background. I'm sure we'll talk about him when we get to the yard goat section. But we Saved by the Bell is making its way to the Colorado organization. You guys probably don't even know what that is. Zach Morris, Bryson Van Sickle, and Anthony Ventura have been signed as free agents, assigned to the ACL. Zach Morris is the Saved by the Bell reference. He was one of the main characters' names in Saved by the Bell. Definitely over your guys' head. That's what I grew up on. But are these any more than depth pieces, Isaac, or what can we expect from Morris, Van Sickle, and Ventura?
I think they're both pretty fun. Ventura, he's a Latin or a signing for he's in the DSL right now. He's 16 years old out of the Dominican Republic. Okay. So for Zach Morris, he's been killing it in the Frontier League for independent baseball. He has 16 innings pitched this year, 16 and a third to 29 strikeouts. He's striking out 16 batters per 9 while only walking 2 per 9. So like those kinds of numbers, they look really good, and the Rockies have a history of getting undrafted free agents and turning them into stud relievers. We could look at Luke Taggart, Dugan Darnell, list can go on. For Bryson Van Sickle, he had a really solid year last year for Utah in the Pac-12. He threw 94 innings, had a 2.67 ERA. So a guy who can be starting games for ACL, might get a startup for Fresno this year. Just they are depth pieces, but they're fun and they could turn into something with the Rockies' ambitions for undrafted pitchers, right?
Yeah. And free agent signing for relievers is never a bad thing. It definitely gives breaks to some of these bigger arms that are just going to have a toll on it. Jordy Vargas and Andy Perez were sent down to the respectable levels last week. I'm sure you guys talked about it, but should expect them both to be back in Spokane. Usually when they're sent down like that before a trip to Vancouver, it's usually visa things. Like their visa just doesn't allow them to go up to Canada for whatever reasons. I've seen it a few times. So expect to see Andy and Jordy back with Spokane tomorrow. But hopefully we are. I know Andy had a pretty nice week in Fresno, so hopefully he doesn't have to stick down there. All right, let's start down in low A and make our way up to AAA. So if you guys want to scroll down on the rundown, but who was your guy this week, Lewis, for the Fresno Grizzlies that kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Robert Callis. We've talked about him weeks past, but it hasn't been in a good light. It's been he's not really living up to expectations, but he's back this week. Only 1 strikeout this week. Wasn't hitting for crazy power, but if he can get the strikeouts, fine. He had 3 doubles. He went 9 for 24. The 1 strikeout is huge for me.
Yeah, because he was sent for what felt like developmental reasons, like, hey, go take a little bit of a break and reset. And so hopefully we see this, because I think the Rockies need Calaz to pan out more than Charlie Condon. I think they need one of these young, like Latin players to really come up and be a stud. Like Tovar, he's good. He's a major leaguer. He's average, but like a superstar raw talent type dude like Calaz, I think the Rockies need that like more than anything. Who's your guy, Isaac?
I'm going to go with the Yiker Reyes. He's an outfielder. He could do it all. He had a really nice season with the DSL a couple years back, was solid for the ACL last year. Good bat to ball skills. He's projectable to be a leadoff type outfielder. And this week he went 7 for 17, 3 walks, 5 stolen bases, just showing that he could do damage with his speed and with his hit tool.
There you go. Yiker Reyes. I know that's a name that you guys have said a few times on here.
Yeah.
So yeah, last week the Grizzlies played the Modesto Nuts. They ended up going 3-3 on the week. All pretty close games, except for the bookend games where they lost by 8 and 7 respectively, but all close games down there. I have not been paying attention to, again, a lot, especially the minor leaguers down in Fresno. But anybody else you want to talk about?
Force myself not to watch anything.
Yeah, so. You needed a break.
Yeah, I was like trying to post, but I was like, I gotta stop. I gotta, allow myself to not post anything for a week, and we're back now though. So.
It was a good reset. So Fresno, we'll see how they go. They play Visalia this week at Visalia. Let's move on up to the Spokane Indians. I mean, Bryson Hammer, just mentioned it. They got swept by the Vancouver Canadians, which is never good. Nobody ever likes to be swept by Canadians ever. But who are some of the what?
That's how you know we're not playing hockey.
Well, yeah, we beat them in the All-Star thing when it was the Four Nations thing. Yeah, USA beat Canada. So
I don't think we did. I think we lost.
Did we lose in the championship?
In overtime, yeah. But like historically, Canada doesn't win the NHL.
Right.
I don't think they've won in like 30 years. So.
No, they're franchises up in Canada, or not hockey franchises. Not at all. Who's your guy, Isaac, for the Spokane Indians this past week?
I don't know if I'm gonna steal Lewis's answer, but I'm gonna go with Aiden Longwell.
Nice.
He's a guy that great hit tool. He's really burst onto the scenes this year, turning into a true top 30 prospect for the Rockies. But he went 10 for 25, 5 doubles with 5 singles, and he's a guy that we don't know if his power is going to project the higher he progresses through a system, but if he's consistently getting doubles and extra base hits that are not home runs, he will be a solid baseball player every step of the journey. So that is my guy for the Spokane Indians.
Yeah, 5 doubles, 5 of 10 hits for doubles. That's awesome. That's my guy.
Yeah.
And I wonder if he's mad at us because he was supposed to be on the pod a few weeks ago, and here we are asking Bryson Hammer to come on before Aiden Longwell. Aiden, if you are listening, if your people are listening, it wasn't on purpose. I promise. Scheduling stuff. Mike, who's your guy?
Yeah, I mean, Isaac stole my guy, Aiden Longwell. I think that's like the 10th pod in a row we named him because he's been so great this year, but I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit, and I'm going to go with the guy everyone's watching, Charlie Condon. Another solid week. Only singles, though, 10 for 22, all singles, but we're seeing the hit tool kind of flourish in high A. 6 walks and 4 strikeouts is a great ratio. Something we worried about was the strikeouts, and only 4 this week. So getting on base, walking a bunch, and we know the power is in there. So I'm loving what we're seeing.
I know you're both going to answer this correctly, but are we worried the fact that Charlie Condon is not showing any power right now? Is it a concern at us for his development coming back from the injury he had?
I'm gonna say no. I think the raw power is there, and it's gonna, when you're Charlie Condon, home runs are gonna happen, and they're gonna eventually happen. I don't think that what we're seeing is bad towards his like home run projectability. I think it's totally still there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that even answers your question.
It does, but... and that was the correct answer. That's what you were supposed to say.
Good.
I mean, just as like a baseball fan, I think I'm happy that he's being able to get on base. Like you said, Mike, the walk to strikeout ratio is nice. The singles are there, meaning he's working on some of these skills that people are worried about. People were worried about the big swing and miss part of it, that he wasn't going to be able to hit for contact. So if we could hit for contact first, and then hit the power, I think that makes a better big leaguer. I think that makes a better ball player.
A safer mold of a prospect. Like if he's hitting for hits, and you know the power is there. It's unlike there's a lot of prospects that have a lot of power and you're questioning the hit. And that's like a lot of the higher upside, but higher bust potential.
Yeah.
But Condon, because you have the hit tools going so well so far, the baseline is so much easier to project into the MLB.
100% agree. I think that's why we're not worried about it. Let's head to Double-A. Hartford Yard Goats. Who did well this past week? Isaac.
Well, I'm going to steal
Mike.
one guy. I'm going to go Brian Bencourt this week. He 3 home runs, had a walk-off in there. He's still only 21 years old at the catcher position. Someone who I don't think many people will know that he's probably in the future plans of the Rockies, right? At some point. He's still super young. He's killing it. He's gone through a lot of growing pains this year, but he's probably going to stay there all year. But next year, when he gets to Albuquerque, I'm sure he's going to rake.
Brian Bettencourt. Yeah, he had a nice little week. 4 doubles, 3 RBIs in there. 7 of 20. I like that. Who is your guy, Isaac?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a friend of the pod, and I'm going to talk about Zach Kokoska, right?
Yep.
Yep.
We need that.
This week, he had 294, on-base percentage of 368. He had a home run. After a slow start to the season, a pretty slow start, he is heating up big time. And the last 2 weeks, he's been even more solid. 371, 2 home runs, 13 hits. He's playing good baseball. And we're seeing glimpses of what he was last year, of being the Yard Goats' best hitter. So it's exciting seeing him do well again.
I saw that he posted that he switched up some of his mechanics, pre-pitch mechanics, to get his hands a little bit inside, a little bit quicker. And so it looked a little bit more last year style than beginning of this year. So hopefully, like you said, those adjustments he made with his team are working out. Over under Cole Carrick's stolen bases this past week, without looking at it, even though I think you both looked at it, 5.5.
I'm gonna go over. You wouldn't have us do under.
I'll go under though.
7. Cole Carrick had 7 stolen bases last week, matching his hit total of 7 last week. He went 7 for 22, 318 average there. And 2 walks to 4 strikeouts. I know Cole Carrick has a lot of hits, big swing and miss in his game. So it's good to kind of see that strikeout number was low last week. Dion Jorge has cooled down a little bit.
Cooled down a lot.
Don't know what that is. Again, haven't been able to watch the eye test, and some of those AA numbers, StatCast type stuff just are kind of hard to get to, but maybe we can dive into that next time or sometime soon.
I want to shout out
Go ahead.
Jack Mahoney real quick. And I don't want you to get Albuquerque real quick, but Jack Mahoney, 7 innings pitch, 1 earned run, proving that he could be a 4 or 5 starter. He's killing it so far.
Yeah, love that. If any time a minor league pitcher goes 7 innings, you know.
Well, it was a 2-start week.
Oh, okay. Okay, so not as cool, but still, those are great numbers as he kind of works his way up. And Sean Sullivan was okay.
Yeah,
6 innings pitched,
right.
3 earned runs, 10 strikeouts to 2 walks for Sean Sullivan. He'll probably be in Isotope land soon, joining his buddy Gabe Hughes to fight for a debut in 2025. Isotope time. I mean, we talked about Michael Tolia. He got the call up, so skip him. But who's your guy, Isaac, up in the lab, so to speak?
I'll go with Warming Bernabel. He's been a fun prospect for the Rockies for a long time. And there was a while there where he had a rough season or two, couldn't put anything together. But like immediately getting into AAA, he's starting to like replenish his former strengths as a prospect. He's 11 for 23 this season, showing really solid, not this season, this week, showing really solid hit tool. And he's a guy that Lewis and I talked about last week, thinking he could be a guy that the Rockies get a call to just because he's consistently putting up numbers and not striking out a lot, singles. Somebody that the Rockies could turn to if like an injury happens. He can be that guy.
I'm curious of what they see in Warming Bernabel, because he was a top 40. He was a 40-man prospect at one point. He was added to it, and then he had that terrible 2022 or 2023 season, and just kind of dropped off the face of the earth. So the fact that he's going to kind of get a resurgence this year, that's promising. We'll see. Ryan Mack on the block. You don't know. You never know. Who's your guy, Mike.
We go Sterling Thompson. This has been a 2-month-long resurgence. In the beginning of the year, we kind of wrote him off. First month of the season, he had a 500 OPS, which in the PCL, that's in the depths of the depths, right? And he comes back, and I think he's at like an 850 OPS, and you're looking at that and go, oh, that's pretty good for the PCL. But if you look at the season-long story here, the last 2 months, he's been an 1100 OPS guy.
That's good.
Constantly getting on base, constantly ripping doubles and even some home runs. He's one of these guys that I think we've all forgotten about, but the hits will still there, right? The defensive flexibility isn't going to be there. He's not going to play every position, but I think he's good enough of an athlete. You can put him out of spot and he won't be a liability. And we're seeing the bats on fire. If we were to look back 3 years ago and tell you when we drafted him, oh, this is what his stats will look like in AAA, we're probably still thinking of this guy as a top 10 prospect. But I love Sterling Thompson. I want him to get the call up soon because he's on fire. And it's just awesome when we see a player just develop in front of our eyes.
And actually go back to what he was supposed to be, right? The contact first type guy, and then developing into just a baseball player. I like that. I like to see Sterling Thompson get out there, get up then. There's 8 guys who hit a homer last week. 7 of them only hit 1 home run. But here that list is Adel Amador, Trevor Boone, Sean Beauchard, Yankiel Fernandez, Owen Miller, Drew Romo, Aaron Schunk, and Sterling Thompson. Kind of nice to say Yankiel Fernandez, Drew Romo especially, and Adel Amador getting home runs in that list there. Bradley Blaylock wasn't terrible. He had 6 strikeouts in his one start that went 6 innings. CVS, 4.2 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, a little tough outing for 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Gabe Hughes allowed 5 in his outing. But your guy, Mike, somebody we're watching, as Jeffrey Yon had 6 strikeouts in his 3 innings of work. Just saying, we can't forget about Jeffrey.
I'm looking good right now, though. I'm looking really. I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, I think we're almost in the clear at this point.
I don't know. They're starting to do revolving doors around with the Arm Barn up at the big league squad. Anything else for the good of the cause as far as players goes in the minors? Not getting out of here just yet, but
yeah.
Anybody else you want to shout out?
I have 2 guys in rookie ball that I want to touch on. For the Arizona Complex League, I have Angel Jimenez, who big arm, strong arm. He hit 100 miles per hour in a game, and he's a guy that nobody knows. He's not on any prospect lists. He's a guy you're hearing here at Blake Street Banter, and somebody who's going to be really good because he has that fastball. He's going to slide through the system because he has a 100 mile per hour fastball. So that's fun. And for the Dominican Summer League, I have O'Darlin Cruz. He's 6'7". This year he has a 0 ERA across 6 2/3 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, a 0.30 whip. So nobody's getting on base against him. He's striking guys out. He has a curveball at a really high slot that just dives down, and guys in the Dominican Summer League have not been able to hit it all year. So he's somebody that we're going to see in the bullpen for the Rockies affiliates in years to come. So those are my 2 guys.
I love that name. That's a sweet name. 6'7". That's just super tall. Got some conversation here in the chat. Normally, the Rockies need new ownership. I'm a Dodgers fan, but I emphasize we had McCourt for years, and those were dark times. So difficult to assess Rockies players.
Dark times, buddy.
I mean, the Dodgers were a little dark in the 80s and 90s. It was tough, I will agree. So difficult to assess Rockies players when they get to the big leagues because of the venue. The hitters are not as good as they might seem, and the pitchers just aren't as terrible. Tough plays. Yeah, you're preaching to the choir, big dog. You're shouting it from the mountaintops like we are. It's just, I mean, everybody knows what Cougars is and what it is to be a Rockies organization and trying to develop these guys. Like there's some grace that's given, but it's been 30 years, so we got to figure something else out. And as far as the ownership, we all know Dick's not going anywhere. So I think we just need to kind of, I don't know, I'm no offense, Norm, but I'm just kind of sick of hearing new ownership. We need to figure everything else out, right? It's hard to assess Rockies players. I agree with that sentiment. It's been 30 years. How do we assess it? How do we figure it out? Join me and Tyler on our data dump pod whenever we can, and we dive into some of those numbers. Yeah, we be dumping. Our first episode was last week where we looked at Amador and Carson Palmquist about some of the numbers and looking at some of the stories and trying to assess some of the Rockies, so to speak, that you're seeing and what to expect at the major league level. Get us out of here, Isaac, with some trivia, and then
I do have trivia.
Oh, you
I
do?
have some
Oh,
trivia.
I have trivia too. All right, we'll let Isaac do it then.
All right.
Okay.
Both.
Okay.
No, just go both trivias.
Okay.
I might not be here next week. You don't know the next time you have me. I don't know.
True.
That's true.
You're on the dark side.
I will definitely not be here next week. I will tell you that. I am busy. I'm not here next week. So trivia it
Okay.
up, fellas.
So, Aaron, you've probably, I don't know how long you've been a Rockies fan, but the Rockies have had
1993. Yeah.
1980, what?
1993.
1993.
They
Do you think
won.
you can name all 8 managers the Rockies
No.
have had?
Don
No.
Baylor, Jim Tracy, Jim Leland, Bud Black,
Bud Black.
Clint Hurdle. That's 5.
Warren
5.
Schaefer.
Warren Schaefer,
Warren
Walt
Schaefer.
Weiss.
Okay, there's one more.
What year are we missing?
2000 to 2002.
Yeah, that's the time I'm not going to remember.
What does he manage anywhere else? Is he known for another spot?
No.
I don't even know this guy's name.
Oh.
Because
As a Rockies fan, I should, but
I have
don't
no
know.
idea. I'm not going to waste anybody's time. I don't know that one. I did better than I thought, but I don't know that one.
Buddy Bell.
Buddy Bell, I think he was the manager for the Giants for a little bit as well. I could have just made that up.
Yeah, you did.
We'll roll with it though.
No. Buddy
Okay,
Bell.
what's yours?
So 7 players in 2023 hit 10 or more home runs for the Isotopes. Can you two name those 7 players?
Say the whole
DJ
question
Peterson?
again. I wasn't ready.
In 2023, the Isotopes had 7 players that hit 10 or more home runs.
Oh, God.
Can you guys name all those players? I think
20
5 of these are obvious, and the 2 others might be a little.
2023?
Sean Bouchard.
No.
No. Montero and Tolia.
Yeah, okay. I got those 2.
Carlos Perez.
Oh, that's a
No.
good one. That was a good callback. I like that. That was a good one. Coco Montez.
Yeah, he led it with 22 home runs.
Aaron Schunk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 3 more.
Stovall
One
get
of these
10?
were on the pod.
Did Stovall get 10?
No, Stovall didn't.
Oh, okay.
How many were
8.
on the pod?
One of these guys were on the pod with Aaron. It was pretty early though. I'm pretty sure. Maybe not.
Was Snyder still playing?
Not Snyder. I think he was.
I don't think he was with the Topes in
No, he's
23.
Wasn't DJ Peterson, right?
Grant Levine.
No. Peterson was more like 22.
Yeah, Levine
Okay.
wasn't there in time in 23.
I'll give you a hint.
I need
I think
positions. Yeah.
he played. One of these guys is in Asia right now playing. Wait, no. One of these guys is in Nashville playing for the Brewers AAA. One of these
Isaac
guys was in a
Collins?
trade recently, and another one of these guys I think just got cut. I don't know where he is.
Kyle Datrace?
No, not
Nah.
Dak.
I don't think he
One of
was
them's a
Topes.
catcher.
Oh, Willie
Oh,
McIver.
McIver?
Yeah,
No,
Willie
not
McIver.
McIver. Not
No?
Oh.
Okay.
I think this guy was a
Oh,
Rule 5 draft pick.
Yeah, he was with the Cardinals, right? Jonathan Morales.
Yes. Yeah.
Nah,
So he
I
has 2
never
more. And I
wouldn't
think
have got there.
one of them's a dog, an outfielder. Played. We were wanting him to get caught up for a pretty long time. Put up great stats in AAA. The other one was in a trade and is in the MLB right now.
Isaac Collins.
No, the other one is like a big name in Rockies Nation. Like, it was a big
Josh.
deal when we traded this guy.
Brandon
Josh
Doyle-
Fuentes.
Oh. When we traded.
David Dahl.
No. Like, he's still young, and good, like hits the ball hard.
Nolan Jones.
Sam Hilliard.
It's Nolan Jones.
Nolan
Ah.
Jones.
No, you guys didn't get that one.
I forgot he was down there in 23. And then I have no idea. I don't know who's in Asia.
No, he's not in Asia. He's with Milwaukee.
Isaac Collins.
No, I think he went to Duke.
Oh, Jimmy Herron.
Jimmy.
There you go.
I'm sorry, Jimmy.
That was a little throwback though.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
throwback. Yeah. Dang.
Jonathan Morales, I didn't think you guys would get.
No.
I forgot about that guy.
Dude, Latin catchers, that's like my entire thing.
That's true. Yeah, that's your niche.
Yeah, Isaac as a type. All right, Buddy Bell. After an 18-year, most notably, blah, 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 he managed the Detroit Tigers, Colorado Rockies, and the Kansas City Royals. You were right, never the Giants.
He was really good. He was a really good player, too.
Yeah.
2,000 something hits, 2,500 hits, 200 home runs.
Indians and the Rangers.
So loyal.
Silver
Oh, boy.
Slugger Award in 1984. Gold Glove winner. Yeah, I was way off. All right. We good?
I think we're all good. I think it was a fun pod. Shout out Bryson Hammer. Thank you for his time. And yeah, won't
All
see
right.
you next week, Aaron.
You will not see me next week. Doesn't mean that you guys won't be here doing your thing
We'll
on
be
Road
here.
to Blake Street.
Bench Rose will be here.
Make sure you tune in next week for all the happenings around the Rockies minor leagues. Draft coverage is going to be piping up soon. We have about a month before draft is here.
Less than a month.
Yeah, and Tyler has been working on some stuff in the background, so be ready for that. And I think we're going to get the original cast of BSB back together. Noah and James might be back on Blake Street Banter Pod. So some fun things happening while Tyler and I continue to add
I
notes.
place a bet that James won't be on the pod.
He won't be on time. We can guarantee that. So
Sure, yeah.
expect
You guys
Noah.
gotta schedule it early so he comes on time.
Hey, we need you at 8, but me and Noah will be there at 9. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Go Rocks and the minor league affiliates. Woo!